So today we're going to start with income tax. So let's start off with just time per hour or piece per hour. So we have Sean is paid €12 an hour. This week Sean works 38 hours. Calculate Sean's gross wage this week. So I'm going to leave you for a second to do that if you want to just pause the video, and then when you're done, continue, press play and we'll go at that question. Okay, so in order to answer this question, what we need to do is we need to just take the time rate of €12 and multiply that by 38 hours. And that will give me 12 multiplied by 38, which is 456. So just one thing you need to note here is that this is called the gross wage. We haven't paid any tax on this yet. The following week, Sean works 38 hours and 4 hours overtime. He is paid at a rate of time and a half for overtime. So, what does time and a half mean? And a half. So, that means it is the rate plus half of the rate. So, in this case, the rate is going to be €12 plus half of the rate, which is 6, which gives me €18 per hour. So Sean is going to be paid €18 for each hour of overtime that he works. So we all already know that for his 38 hours, he gets €12 an hour, and that gives me 456. Now for his additional 4 hours, so that's this guy here, he is going to get €18 for those 4 hours. So if I get 18 multiplied by 4, that gives me 72. So Sean's gross wage is going to be 72 plus 456, and that's going to give me 528. Okay, so that's the concept of overtime. Okay, so a couple of key terms that you need to know. So first of all is this thing that's called the standard rate cutoff point. You're going to see that quite a bit in this, and you'll see me refer to it as the SRC. It's the amount to which an employee is taxed at the standard rate. And the standard rate, we'll see in a second, is 20%. Then you have gross tax, which is the amount of tax owed to the state before tax credits are deducted. And then what is a tax credit? Everybody gets tax credits. So it's the sum deducted from the total amount, the gross tax, a taxpayer owes to the state. So there are tax credits for everything. You can get tax credits for how many children you have, if you're married, if you're single, loads of different types of tax credits. So a couple of different terms that you need to know here. Statutory deductions are the ones that must be made to the government. So tax is a statutory deduction. Income tax is the one that we use, PAYE. That's a statutory deduction. What we pay that for is that it pays the public services, so teachers, Gardaí, doctors, nurses, so on. But it also helps to, let's say, build roads, build schools. Another example one is called PRSI, so pay-related social insurance. And things like old age pensions come out of that, job seekers benefit, job seekers allowance, and child benefit. So we call it a social insurance because we believe that at some point of your life, you are going to be old and need to claim a pension. You may be unemployed and need to get job seekers allowance. You may have children and you might have to get child benefit for each of those. You may be pregnant, in which case you go on maternity leave. If you're male, you go on paternity leave. So pay-related social insurance covers all of those possibilities in life. And then finally, for all of those, you're entitled to get money from the state. So for example, job seekers allowance, even if we look now at the minute, the COVID payment, the PUP, that's €350 per week if you've been let go from your job. So that's money that you get off the government. Okay, Non-statutory deductions are voluntary deductions, so you get to choose to get these taken out of your pay. So an example, some people have healthcare payments, I have union fees coming out of mine, and pension payments as well, and that's by choice. Okay, so just as a little exercise, if you want to have a go at the 3 questions I've marked in blue here, press pause on the video, have a go at those questions. You can do them on your calculator, you don't have to do them in your copy if you wish, and just see if you get the right answers. Okay, so there's the answers there. Have a quick check, see how you get on, and if you didn't get those right, have a go at some of the ones below using the same method. Okay, so let's try a question. Abraham earns 24,000 a year. His tax credit is 2,400. His standard rate of tax is 20%. So at the minute we don't have an SRC, I just want to get you used to some of the language here. So first of all, if we want to find his gross tax, what we need to do is we need to multiply 24,000 multiplied by 0.2, and what we're going to get, and this will be his gross tax, is so we have 4,800. Okay, now to get his tax payable, what we need to do is we need to subtract his tax credit. So a tax credit is tax that you don't have to pay. So this is the gross tax, is money you have to pay before. Then we subtract the 2,400, and what we get then, which is his tax payable, is going to be 2,400. Okay, and then finally, to get his net income, we need to take the 24,000. So we want to find out how much he gets to bring home. 24,000 minus 2,400, and what we'll get there, which is net income, or sometimes you'll hear it being called take home pay, which is going to give me 21,600, and that's their take home pay. Okay, so let's just look at income tax. Some of you have had part-time jobs before, so this would be of interest to you. You see here we have 2 rates of income tax in Ireland. We have a standard rate of tax, which is 20%. 20%, I know it's down below, but I'll write beside it. And then the higher rate is 40%. Now, a lot of students get confused as to what this means. And I think this diagram here actually is really, really good, because it shows you if this orange and yellow box is your whole income, part of your income is going to be taxed at 20. And then after a particular point, that's our SRC point, you're taxed at 40%. Tax payable is your gross tax less your tax credit. So we just take an example of this then. Let's say, for example, you earn, so e.g., your gross income is 50,000 and you are a single person. Well, what that means is you are going to pay 3,800 of that income is going to be taxed at 0.2%. So that's your 20%. And then the remainder, so I'm going to get 50,000 minus 33,800. I'm just getting that figure there from here. Normally it will say what the standard rate cut-off point is in the question, so don't panic about that. And what I get is 16,200, and that's going to be taxed at 0.4%. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I want you to measure, I want you to split out an income. Let's say 39,000. Okay, and we're going to use the same standard rate cut-off point. I want you to go ahead and tell me what way is that going to be split. So how much is going to be taxed at 0.2% and how much is going to be taxed at 0.4%. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. If you haven't got it done, pause the video and then you can press play. So we know for definite, because our standard rate cut-off point is 33,800, and that's going to be taxed at 0.2%. It's a funny looking name, I'm sorry. And then finally we get 39,000. I'm stuck for a space now. Minus 33,800. And when I do that, 39,000 minus 33,800, I get 5,200, and that's going to be taxed at 0.4%. Okay. Just one question students always tend to ask me: what if the income is lower than your SRC? So what if, for example, you have somebody who's only on 30,000 a year? Then all you do is you only pay 0.2%. You don't pay the higher rate tax because you're not over the standard rate cut-off point. So you're only going to pay the 0.2%, and that's going to give you €6,000 in tax. Okay, so we're going to try a question. I like to do a little diagram when we're doing income tax. I think sometimes it just makes a little bit more sense. So we have a standard rate of 20%. We have a higher rate of 41%. The standard rate cut-off point is 32,800. Sorry, pen's gone off. 32,800, and then we can see that Sandra has a gross income of 47,500. So that's our gross income. We know that we're going to split that in two, and you'll see I have a little step 1 there. Take the SRC from the gross income. So first of all, we have 32,800 multiplied by 0.2%. Okay, so that's our lower rate of tax. So 38,000 multiplied by 0.2% is, or 0.2, 32,800 by 0.2. We are going to get 6,560. And then our step 1, what I'm talking about here, is take the SRC from the gross income. We're going to do that on the other side. So what we have is 47,500 minus our 32,800. And when I do that, so 47,500 minus 32,800, I get 14,700, and that's going to be taxed at 0.4%. And when I do that, so I have 14,700 multiplied by 0.4, I get 5,880. Okay, my next step is going to be that I add these tax amounts to get the gross tax. I know that's a little bit small now, but you can see it. So I'm going to take this amount here, I am going to take this amount here, and I'm going to add those two together to get my gross tax. So when I do that, plus 6,560, I get 12,440. Now my step 3 is going to take away the tax credit to get the net tax, or the tax payable. So this is my, just to do a little bit of recap here, my gross tax. So from that I'm going to take away my tax credit, so minus 2,450. That's going to give me minus 2,450. That is going to give me 9,990, and that's my tax payable. And the final part here, because they've asked for Sandra's net income, my final step, which is step 4, is that I'm going to take my 47,000, so my gross income 500, minus my 9,990, and when I do that, so I get 47,500 minus 9,990, and I get 37,510, and that's net income. So that's what Sandra gets to take home. Okay, so what I want you to do now is take down this question. I want you to pause the video, go back, have a look at your steps from the last video, and then have a go at this question. Okay, so let's use our structure that we were using. So let's start off with writing 57,000 at the very top. That's our gross income. Then we are going to split that in two. So the first one is 32,800, and where did I get that figure? It's my standard rate cut-off point. Multiplied by 0.2, and we got that earlier. It was 6560. And then we need to take 57,000 on the other side minus the 32,800. And when we do that on our calculator, so we have 57,000 minus 32,800, we get 24,200. Okay, and we're going to multiply that by 0.4%, and that will give us our tax. So we have 24,200 multiplied by 0.4%. Remember, that's our higher rate of tax. And we get 9680. Okay, take a different colour pen. I'm going to box these two up, and what I'm going to do with them is add them so that I get my gross tax. So when I add those two, 6560, I will get 16,240. Okay, perfect. What other information do we have? We have a tax credit of 3,200. I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller. So we have a tax credit of 3,200. We know with the tax credit, we just take away. So taking that away, 3,200, we get 13,040, and that's our net tax, or tax payable. And find our net income. All we are going to do, because that's what we want, Loredana's net income, we take 57,000 minus the 13,040, and that will give me 43,960. Okay, so I'm going to give you two questions for homework. Have a go with those.